Clear at voting time.
Chris Hockenvoll.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it is with pleasure I stand to speak on these three bills that we have before us. I'm always a little saddened to hear a desultory commentary from the speakers from the other side, because basically this is a good thing. And I think they agree with it. Is it good news? I think they agree with it. And, well, I don't know about good news, but it's a necessary change to bring about better services, and that's what it's all about. And it was, while this bill had been introduced before I joined the committee, it has been a pleasure to discuss it, Mr. Speaker, with other members of the select committee that are involved. Let's begin, if we may, with the New Zealand Public Health and Disability Bill 2000. This bill relates to the establishment of a health promotion agency, HPA, and we love acronyms, don't we, as a Crown agent, and the disestablishment of the Alcohol Advisory Council, the Health Sponsorship Council, and the Crown Health Financing Agency. There would be some who could be concerned when they heard about the disestablishment of ALAC, that organisation that has done such a splendid job over such a long period in New Zealand. However, they need not be disconcerted by that. The bill provides that the new HPA's board will have at least 5, but not more than 7 members, appointed by the responsible minister. Levy provisions carried over from the Alcohol Advisory Council Act 1976 will enable the HPA to recover certain of its operating costs. I think this is probably one of the most key reassurances that can be provided for those who have a particular interest in the activities of ALAC. The money that they have been getting from levies, Mr. Speaker, are ring-fenced. They are dedicated to the purposes of controlling alcoholism. That's right. In respect to the HPA's alcohol-specific functions, therefore, the advice, the recommendations, the research relating to problems associated with the misuse of alcohol, the HPA will be required to have regard to government policy when directed by the responsible minister, rather than being required to give effect to government policy. So they have to have regard for it. So there's a fair bit of latitude over how they respond. Let's look at the Mental Health Commissioning Bill, 1998, Part 2. This bill relates to the expiry of the Mental Health Commissioning Act 1998, and let's remember it is an expiry. It was due to end, and the appointment of a Mental Health Commissioner under the Health and Disability Act 1994. The Act will now expire on the 30th of June 2012 rather than the 31st of August 2015. Quite a lot of discussion, Mr. Speaker, has been given to the Mason report, and I have been privileged to meet with Judge Mason on a few occasions. He is, in fact, from the west coast of the South Island. He is a guy who has tremendous interest in mental health, and his report is a standpoint for the development of mental health services. The new bill provides for the appointment of a Mental Health Commissioner under the Health and Disability Commissioner Act 1994, and for the appointment of the chairperson of the Mental Health Commission as the first Mental Health Commissioner. If we have a look at some of the key points associated with these changes, disestablishing the Commission and establishing the new Mental Health Commissioner within the Office of the Health and Disability Commissioners will enable a continued focus on the mental health sector performance while benefiting from reducing the corporate governance overhead. In all these moves, Mr. Speaker, and in other government departments where we brought about these changes, what we have had is a synergy of professionals working together. The product is most worthwhile. This provides an enduring solution to the expiry of the Mental Health Commission in 2015. It establishes a new Mental Health Commissioner, transfers the existing Mental Health Commissioner, Dr. Lynn Lane, to the new position to provide continuity and leadership from a respected leader in the mental health sector. We then come Mr. Speaker, to the Charities Bill 2005. This bill, probably the most controversial of the three, I would think. The most controversial of the three. And this bill disestablishes the Charities Commission, reassigns function and duties under the Charities Act 2005 to the Chief Executive of the Department of Internal Affairs, with the exception of the registration and deregistration of charities, which will be carried out by an independent decision-making board of 3 persons. This bill, Mr. Speaker, provides that the Chief Executive must supply all secretarial and administrative services required to enable the independent board to carry out its functions, duties and powers. The independent, and let's emphasise that independent aspect, Mr. Speaker, board may delegate its functions, duties or powers to the Chief Executive, but the Chief Executive must act independently in exercising such delegated powers and is not responsible to the Minister in this regard. And, Mr. Speaker, that is a key aspect of this legislation. I support the legislation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable